Good day everyone. So for today's video, we'll tackle about complex number. And here are the objective of this lesson. The first one, take the principal square root of a negative number. The second one, write a complex number in a standard form. The third one, add and subtract complex numbers. The fourth one, multiply complex numbers. And the last one is divide complex numbers. In this tutorial, we will be looking at imaginary and complex numbers. Imaginary numbers allow us to take the square root of negative numbers. In this lesson, I will take you through adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing complex numbers, as well as finding the principal square root of a negative numbers. I do believe that you are ready to get acquainted with imaginary and complex numbers. So this is the definition of an imaginary number. From here on out, anytime that you have the square root of negative 1, you can simply it as I, and anytime you have I squared, you can simplify it as negative 1. Next is standard form of complex number. In this form, A is the real number part A and B is the imaginary number part. Note that either one of these parts can be 0. An example of complex number. The next one is equality of complex numbers, which we can see A plus BI is equal to C plus DI. F and only if A is equal to C and B is equal to D. Complex numbers are made up of a real number part and imaginary number part. An example of complex number written is in standard form, which is negative 10 plus 5i. In other words, two complex numbers are equal to each other if their real numbers match and their imaginary numbers match. Next is addition and subtraction of complex numbers. The first one, A plus BI plus C plus DI is equal to A plus C plus B plus D times I. Or A plus BI minus C plus DI is equal to A minus C plus B minus D times I. In other words, when you add or subtract two complex numbers together, you add or subtract the number parts together. Then add or subtract the imaginary number parts together and write it as a complex number in standard form. But before we end our but before we end this topic, I'll give you one example, which is addition. Example is 7 plus 2i plus 9 minus 5i. 7 plus 9 plus 2i is equal to 5i. The result is 7 plus 9 is equal to 16 and 2i minus 5i is equal to negative 31. So that's all for today's video. Thank you everyone.